Hey, did you know that you can use an SBA 7A loan to buy a business? Yes, you can. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to do that. Let's get to it. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am your host, Leo Landaverde, business and loan broker, helping you buy and scale a profitable business. If you're thinking about purchasing a business someday, whether it is a franchise or a traditional business, or own a business and trying to figure out how to scale it so you can sell it for millions, then you come to the right place and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to hit the bell, and you'll be notified every time a new video comes out. First and foremost, you should never ever buy a business unless the numbers make sense and you're absolutely convinced that the return on investment will be there. Otherwise, you'll be setting yourself up for failure, and we don't want that. So with that said, I have some notes here that I'm going to be referencing to, and I want to make sure that I don't miss anything. Now, the truth is, rarely ever will a business be bought 100% in cash. Most businesses are sold with some type of financing. But the focus of this video is on the SBA 7A loan as a means to buy a business. Now, there are two types of businesses that you can buy using an SBA 7A. First one is a traditional business. And the second one is a non-traditional business or a franchise business. Now, the difference between the two is very important for you to understand. Now, if you want a business where there is a guaranteed, almost a guaranteed stream of income, with almost like an annuity type, with a very successful system and a proven method that works with marketing and sales, then you probably need to go with a franchise business. The trade-off is that you're gonna have less freedom. There's gonna be some covenants and some promises that you're gonna have to, things that you have to do to make sure that you don't violate the terms of the franchise. Now, if you want more freedom, then you don't want a franchise, right? If you want more freedom, but then a little more risk because the marketing methods may not be as great as a franchise model, then there's a trade-off, right? You're either gonna have oversight on the franchise side or you're gonna have freedom. But you get to choose. It doesn't matter. I have owned franchise businesses, I have owned traditional business. It doesn't really matter. Now, so here's a known little secret, something that you may not know. A common myth is that you need to put 10% down when you're buying a business using the SBA 7A loan, right? But the truth is, I'm here to tell you that that is not true. You really don't need to put any money down to buy a business. And it comes down to four things that you need to understand about what matters to the SBA and what matters as they are looking. The SBA is on your side. So there are the four things. Number one is your credit. Number two is your experience. Number three is the cash flow. And number four is the collateral. Now, the SBA is silent on a lot of restrictions. No, because the SBA themselves, they don't make any loans. They basically guarantee the loans. They are a government entity that guarantees the loans that are made by those SBA lenders. Now, so for instance, if your credit is 700 plus, and this is a business that you're buying with a stable cash flow and a reasonable collateral, you can expect to buy a business with little to no money down. Are you stuck trying to figure out how to buy your dream business? Drop me a comment below and let's connect. I'm on a quest to help 10,000 people buy their dream business. So let's dive a little deeper, right? As I said, number one is your credit. Now, your credit has to be at least 650 FICO score. That is the combined credit score of the three bureaus. Now, and the reason for that is because it shows your character. The SBA is primarily concerned with you, the borrower, and your character. And that's shown by the evidence as how you make your payments. If your credit is 650, the SBA assumes that you are pretty good at paying your debts. Okay, your experience. Now, I get this all the time, people that want to buy a business that they have no knowledge of. So the SBA will be very wary if you lack the experience and the type of business you want to buy. So if you don't have, it doesn't mean that you have to have 100% of the experience, but it means that whoever is in your management team must have the experience enough to be able to grow this business from where it is, how you're buying it, to where it's gonna go. Because the SBA, it behooves them that you grow your business, because the more you grow and the higher the profits, the more assurances they're gonna have that you're never gonna default on your loan. So in the cash flow, here is super important. And this is where you need to bring people onto your team that can help you. And this is one of the things that I love to do, really asset testing the balance sheet and really looking at the cash flow. Now the cash flow is like, for instance, how much is falling to the bottom line. And the way the SBA and the SBA lenders look at it, they go, okay, well, we're going to look at the total debt service for the loan that you want. For instance, if you're buying a business for $3 million, and let's assume that you actually have the credit score and it's a very profitable business, so you're looking for a $3 million loan with no money down, then you better be sure that they're going to be looking at that cash flow and acid testing that cash flow over multiple years, evidenced by your tax returns, that you're going to comfortably be able to service that debt at least by 1.25%, a 1.25 ratio, which means that you're going to cover the debt at least by 25% over than what the annualized debt service is going to be, including principal and interest. So in the collateral, now here's something that you need to know about the collateral. A lot of deals are actually collateral neutral with the SBA. What does that mean? That the spirit of the SBA is like they want to give you the opportunity. They don't really want to tie your hands. If you're buying real estate, and I'm going to be doing a video next week about real estate, they're going to want to tie up the real estate because that just makes sense. But in some cases, there may not be a lot of assets in the business, nothing but goodwill, right? And the brand. And they may not want to tie that because they want to free you up so you can do that. So the spirit of the SBA is, let's not tie any collateral. Hey, what type of business are you interested in buying? Drop me a comment below. And it also helps the YouTube algorithm every time you like and comment my video so we can spread the word and find more people. Thank you so much. So let me tell you what's possible. And you probably wondered, will the SBA finance the type of business I'm looking at? So let me give you some examples of some recent deals by some of my SBA lenders, the lenders that I work with. Heating and air conditioning business, $2.8 million loan to buy a heating and air conditioning business. $2.5 million loan to buy an equipment retailer. A $2.2 million deal to buy a landscaping company. A $3.2 million deal to buy an electrical contractor. A $1.9 million deal to buy a restaurant. Now, some of these deals may have a little bit of down payment, some maybe zero down payment, but I'm just giving you an idea of what's possible. And there are very few industries that the SBA will not finance. By the way, speaking of what the SBA will not finance, there are specific franchises that the SBA will finance. There are some that they won't. So you need to make sure, whoever you're working, feel free to reach out to me with any questions you may have about this, but the franchise that you're looking at has to be on the approved list by the SBA. So let's go on. An assisted living facility for $6.8 million transaction. So you're starting to see what is possible. Many types of business is possible, but it's gonna come down to a business that it's profitable, or a business that will be profitable soon enough, hence your experience comes into play. Hey, so how about expanding by buying a competitor? So let's say you own a business and you own a business for a period of time. Now you want to expand to a different geographical location, but rather than start in a new location, you want to buy one of your competitors. Great idea. So here's an example of a business that's been around for 10 years who wants to buy a competitor. And this deal was 0% equity injection from the ownership. So the actual owners were able to put zero down to buy a competitor in a different areas. And the reason for that is because over a 10-year span horizon and their balance sheet was a very strong balance sheet. They had injected over $500,000 over a period of 10 years. So the SBA, remember what I said, the spirit of the SBA is make it very feasible for you. They're not just gonna put a down payment, which the SBA doesn't do that. Those are the lenders that actually minimize the risk by you doing that. But you had a very strong balance sheet. So in this particular case, there was no need for a down payment because you had a very successful business that was buying another successful business. So it makes sense. So it bears repeating. As you're looking at businesses to buy, I know, I get emails from you that are looking at different places in different states, and you go to businessesforsale.com or BizBuySell. There are many multiple platforms that actually have businesses for sale. You want to look at a business that is already profitable. Now, a lot of business brokers will put businesses there that that have this great numbers, but that you're gonna have to really dig deep to find out those numbers really gonna stand the test of time, and that's when we get into due diligence, which is a subject for another video. About citizenship, I get this question asked probably about once a week, so I think it bears talking about. So as far as the SBA is concerned, the ownership of the legal entity has to be at least 51% controlled by a U.S. citizen or a U.S. permanent resident. So you may have a combination of two U.S. citizens or permanent residents. One has 26% and the other one has 25% to add up to the 51%, and the rest could be foreign nationals. But the control, that is the same whether it is a C corporation, an S corporation, or a limited liability company. The SBA is concerned that we have U.S. people running the companies, not being run from outside of the U.S. Does that make sense? So that's on U.S. citizenship. Now let's talk about pricing, and that's important that you know. So 25-year terms right now for the 7A, it's prime plus anywhere from 1.275% to 2.75% adjusted quarterly. So you're looking at about 5 to 6% APR. 15-year term loans, we're looking at prime plus 2.5 through 2.75. So you're looking at about a 5 3/4 to 6%. Not bad. 10-year terms, you're looking at prime plus 2.75 adjusted quarterly. So right now that is looking at about 6. So no matter which way you look at it, you're looking at anywhere from as low as 5% APR or to 6% APR. So that's on pricing. So let's say you found your deal. All right, you found the perfect business, that the numbers make sense, is in an industry that you like, that you have expertise, you're passionate about it, and the numbers make sense, at least at the outset, the numbers that are given to you by the broker. Now, what do you do? So in order for you to be pre-approved, so you can get basically a term sheet from a lender, you will need to have 3 years business tax returns and interim financials from the seller. Now, I'm in the middle of a transaction right now that the buyer was looking at this business in a different state line, and I thought all this paperwork was already ready, but apparently the seller had not finished doing their tax returns. So the reality is that that's not good. So if you are about to sell your business, you should have your house in order. You have to have all your tax returns ready to go. You have to have your interim financials. So if you're the buyer and you're looking at a business that you want to buy and you want to have it funded by the SBA, you need to have, again, 3 years worth of seller tax returns for the business, for the legal entity, as well as the sellers. If this is a pass-through entity like an LLC or an S Corp, be ready to have the tax returns from the seller, as well the personal tax returns, the 1040, and a business debt schedule. Now, on the personal side, from you as a buyer, you're gonna need a personal financial statement. You're gonna need 3 years worth of personal tax returns. You need to have a kind of an idea. If you work with Credit Karma, you should be able to get a copy of a free credit report for you to give an idea of 2 of the 3 credit bureaus for your FICO score. But there will be a hard pull on your credit, so you need to be, that's going to happen. And a resume. Remember what I said about, credit, experience, cash flow, and collateral, the 4? Well, your resume is going to tell the SBA about your experience. So if you are, for instance, I'm an accountant, right? If you're an accountant and you want to buy a restaurant, well, the first question is, I should have some type of experience running a restaurant, and if I don't, you better believe that I need to have somebody in my management team who has great experience. My GM, my general manager, will have to have great experience in that. So anyway, so that's kind of the video for today. Thank you so much for letting me share. Let me know if this was helpful to you. For a limited time, I am giving away 2 of my biggest resources, my Advanced Growth Plan template, as well as my Financial Projections Workbook. These 2 documents together have helped hundreds of business owners predict and achieve financial success in their business. Go ahead and click on the link below. They are my gift to you.